I can't even click now. Oh, wait, what? No, it didn't work. Did it? It's okay, let's just skip through. Okay, so here we see the rankings. Tier 1 is Blessed Priest. So Blessed Priest, the deck, there's been no changes. It's still the exact same list, except they put in Sunwell. Hopefully Rogue nerf. Yeah, probably, although a lot of the hate is on Miracle Rogue right now. And I would say that Miracle Rogue is actually not the strongest rogue. So it's a bit questionable how they'll nerf the situation as a whole. But they should definitely, what they should definitely do is buff DK, so it becomes at least playable. I can't close this ad. My god. Blah 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 blah. Where was I? Here. Okay, yep. So good news is Aggro Druid is on top. As you can see earlier, we lost to Aggro Druid. So it's very good that Aggro Druid is on top, because Aggro Druid, like I've always mentioned, is the cheapest deck. So super great that it's up there. I'm very happy with that. So Death Knight sucks. So the issue with Death Knight, right, is that all of the cards seem to be very powerful individually. You can see in my expansion review, all the cards are individually very good. But it just sucks. Altogether, it just sucks. So the only deck that is playable is Frost Control. So I can show you decks. Sticks 30. Class DK. So the only one playable with a decent win rate, it's this one, or these two on the left here. So it's a triple frost, but not even the triple frost aggro 30 card version that we thought would be great before the expansion came in, but rather a 40 card more control-y version, so that you get the health, you get extra health from Renata, and then you can control out and go. It goes for like a later game plan with just the Frostworm at the end. This is like the most successful. Everything else is just shit with like 52 or lower and lower and lower and lower. So this is not a good spot for Death Knight. So Rogue, Death Rattle Rogue is the one that's very strong. Pre-ordered the DK cards, I can't even play them. Unlucky. I haven't even bought the 2000 gold DK one because I thought it was so bad. I'm free to play, so I'm very stingy with how I spend. So that happened. What was I gonna show you? Alright, Rogue. So right, the Death Rattle Rogue, not this one. This one is rubbish. This one. Right? Huh. Wait, what is the difference? Oh, this one has Finley. Okay, just this one, right? 10,000 games. This one is just very good. It's not the most exciting because you try to hit your combo, and then you have Illusionist, ideally pull out Infectious Ghoul, and then basically the idea is that once you get a couple of Infectious Ghoul going, it's impossible to clear your board. Of course, against decks like Priest, it's completely useless because they can use Silence. Against decks with very strong AoE, also not so good, like Mage. But apart from that, it's just very powerful because once the minions get going, you can't really deal with it. So I would say this is very strong. I would say it's even stronger than Miracle Rogue. Although Miracle Rogue has a better chance of high rolling, I guess. So you can get the big Drakar weapon. For Miracle Rogue itself, I guess this is one variant. I will say it's best not to run the Potion Master. Potion Master kind of too slow in the list. I really don't like it. And apart from that, you should just run the Potion Belt. You should run Ghoulish. You should run Concoctor, and then all the usual Graveyard, Drakar, and then Edwin and Noel versus Sprint. That's another thing you can have. You can have a bit of a mix. So for example, the list that I've played over here, the list that I've played is this one. So I have 2 Wicked Steps as an extra burst, and I also choose to run Edwin over Sprint because I have a much lower curve. And you always want to try and get the draw potions anyway when you're playing Miracle Roll. And I also have the Dancer to kind of high roll with Shadow Step. But in general, any of the Miracle Roll list should perform relatively equally. Just the Potion Master is probably not the right card to be in the deck. And then what I would feel is another strong deck is just straight up the Jackpot Rogue that has barely changed since the expansion. If you notice, it's pretty much all the same cards. The Potion Master here, it honestly shouldn't be here. It's not going to have a huge impact getting a couple extra potions, although it is better than in Miracle Rogue because Jackpot Rogue you go to much later turns, so you could have like a bigger turn where you trade a whole bunch of minions and then get a bunch of potions for value. And also it's added Estalor, added Shadow of Demise, both of the strong cards of this expansion, but everything else is pretty much the same. This is still very strong. So I would say all 3 rogues are kinda equal in power level. Yep. So yeah, says the same things here. And yeah, you don't even need concoctions in the Jackpot Rogue, or Thief Rogue as they call it. Okay, so here we go to Demon Hunter. So right in the start of the expansion, people was already trying the full spell Demon Hunter with just relics. That one has fallen off. It's pretty much died, especially at higher ranks. And it's all about Quest Demon Hunter now. That's why I'm playing it. It's insane. It's so good. It wins everything, kinda. Like even Blessed Priest doesn't really work well because if we have a good relic hand, we can just kill whatever size minion they put out anyways. So yeah, that's it for DH. I think just Quest DH. Let's see the list differences. Oh, wrong button. This one. So yeah, this is the one that they were trying at launch. This is died. It's all about the Quest DH now. So what is this one? Okay, so they have cut Spectral Sight for a Viper, and they have cut Arcanist for Kurtrus. Don't do this list. Okay, you don't really want to use Kurtrus in this deck because if you notice, right, how often do you attack? You don't attack much. So by the time you hit turn 6, it's not gonna be a very big demon. So it's not gonna be very useful actually, the Kurtrus. I wouldn't run Kurtrus at all. So I'm running this one. Pretty much the completely basic list, 2 of each card. So I would say the weakest cards in the deck would be actually Spectral Sight and Scorn. Scorn because it's not a fel spell, and Spectral Sight because it's only value when you outcast it. And you actually want all 4 spell damage minions. So yeah, if you ask me, it's just these 2 cards that you might want to switch. And it's one popular switch is the Viper over here. You can see from this list, 3000 games, Scorn for Viper. Personally, I haven't seen the reason for this switch. I don't know what Viper is supposed to target, so I've just stuck with this one until something else happens. Moving on, Ram Druid isn't great. Aggro Druid is taking advantage of Ram Druid. Yeah, nah. Right, so Aggro Druid is good against Miracle Rogue, decent against Death Rattle Rogue if they miss, and also good against our Quest Demon Hunter when we miss as well. So it's good. Ram Druid, I wouldn't say it isn't great. It's just not the best into the current meta. This is the first time you've bought the pre-order bundle or low road. Sorry about that. Top 300 is free to play is insane. Nah, I have been ranked 1 a couple of times, so it's not that insane. Kurtrus is Omega bait, correct. So Red is not great. It's just not good into Blast Priest because you can't deal with the early big minion. You can only deal with it with Sylvanas, the 2 mana Silence thing maybe if they don't get boon, and also the 9 mana Devourer. Those are the 3 options. But those are very late in your turn, so when if you don't draw those cards or if Blast Priest just blows you out, you're just dead. Against Quest Demon Hunter is actually decent. Once again, if you get to the late turns, you build up a lot of armor. Quest Demon Hunter might actually not have enough damage to get there. Bad against Aggro Druid because you just lose. Kinda even, kinda slightly favored against Quest Priest. Bad against Miracle Rogue. And yeah, pretty much it's just because of the popularity of Rogue. That's why Druid is bad. The popularity of Aggro Druid and Rogue, that's why Ram Druid is bad. I wouldn't say it's bad on its own. It has a lot of great cards, like Anubrekan and the new armor package, and of course Astalor as a new win condition. But of course it did get weaker after the Natrius nerf. Best Priest is the best deck at Legend. Yeah, boring stuff. It didn't take any new cards, only Sunwell. I would like to see this deck nerfed because it's not very high skilled. Basically you just reduce, you play Radiant to reduce the spell, and then you just buff, throw cards, and then yeah. Quest Priest once again, it's just to defeat Rogue. Like I said, there's so much Rogue, right? We saw it on the table. Where is it? Here. Look at the Rogue. 30% Rogue. So the Quest Priest will come out because Quest Priest just defeats any kind of Rogue. Yeah, that's why it's there. And then of course it's bad against Quest Demon Hunter because it does nothing. So we can actually just build up 40 damage to kill them one shot. It doesn't have the armor gain like Druid. And then it's bad against Druid because once again it does nothing. So Plague Priest is very interesting. It's still a growing deck, I would say. Because it's a control deck, but it also disruptions very well with Plague, which it cannot win the Demon Hunter matchup because we can shuffle our guild trader back in, so they can never hit our trader, and then with 2 traders at 0 mana, we always have enough damage to OTK them, so the matchup is still very favored. It does help them against Druid because you can plague all the big pieces, and then Druid is screwed. But like it says here, watch out. We still have to see like whether the plague is best just put in Quest Priest or whether it's gonna be its own thing. We'll have to see. Okay, so Pure Paladin is only an aggro version. Control Paladin, pretty much the same thing as before expansion. They got a few new cards, which is good. Talk more about that later. Okay, Warlock, there's nothing. It's just Imp Warlock. Okay. Someone told me that the new Legendary made Phylactery Warlock or Bomb Warlock better, but it has it appears that that's a lie. So yeah, it's only Implock. So Implock exactly the same cards as before. So Cursed Imp is worse now just because the meta is a bit faster. You don't have time to build up the curses, so the non-cursed Imp has taken over. But basically it's the same thing. Mage, there's only Big Spell Mage. It's exactly the same deck as before. You don't play the new 8 mana spell. 8 mana spell is bait. You don't need it. The rune, 9 mana rune and 10 mana Dragon Amulet is more than enough. You don't need the 8 mana bait spell. If you like Big Spell Mage, so you can still continue to play it, it'll still be decent. But there is the aggressive mage deck that I will talk about later that looks interesting. Shaman, the Evolved Shaman seems great. It has good win rates. Exactly what it says here. Wave helps against Death Rattle, helps against Priest. But there has not been much play of it. So as you can see here, Shaman. It's not very attractive. What else? Hunter. So Hunter, Spitter Hunter is dead. Very sad. I honestly think they shouldn't have nerfed Spitter so early. Like 3 days in, they nerfed Spitter. Like, why? The expansion hasn't even settled down. You nerfed Spitter already. It's very stupid. Like at the point where they nerfed Spitter, Quest Demon Hunter hasn't even come up, and now it looks like Quest Demon Hunter is the strongest deck, along with Blessed Priest. So it's kind of stupid that it is nerfed. And Beast Hunter is just playing no new cards. It still works. Not as well, I guess, but it still works. And Warrior, Enraged Warrior got better. No one is interested again. Control Warrior is dead. So yeah, so let's take a look at the Mage deck. That was interesting. So Paladin. Paladin is just the aggro one. Control one is boring, same as before. What you added is the new card. You got Anachronos now, and you also can add the Astalor. Basically, it's the same, you know, the good stuff. You just add that in, and is this pure Paladin? That's showing up. So these two lists are the more popular ones. So very important, the Blood Crusader here. Definitely do not underestimate this one off. I explained it a couple of days ago. So the point of having the Blood Crusader is so that you can play Order in the Court earlier to prep for drawing Blood Crusader on turn 6 or turn 5 if you have coin. So you just judge it on your own. So for example, you have Order in the Court right now, and it's turn 3. If you play it, you draw this. You draw this on turn 4. You draw this on turn 5 with the coin, assuming, and then you coin this and you play this, and that's huge. It's a huge swing. That's the whole reason Blood Crusader is there, just to play counters a turn earlier, and it's a big deal. Okay, so I might play this deck. Maybe. Yeah, actually I might play it. I have a best of 5 coming up, so I might craft this. I'm only missing the Crusader, so yeah, I might try this one. Yep. This one, same thing, just no Kotori. Has class action lawyer, so slight differences. I would trust this one more with the higher win rate. This one doesn't have the Matriarch, which I think is important. So yeah, not that one. Okay, and then the mage deck, this one. So this one, I believe it was made by Alutemu. Nice guy. Is it our friend list? Let me see. Here. Where is it? Where is it? Oops. Here it is. Should be the same one here, right? The Deathborn, Egwin. Yep. Yep, so just wanted to let you guys know the source. Alutemu, Japanese player. So once again, like I said, every aggro deck will have Troll. Because Troll just destroys decks that destroys the non-aggro decks that want to play spells like Miracle Rogue, Death Rattle Rogue, Quest Demon Hunter. I have not played this deck yet, but very interesting to try out. It doesn't have any. It doesn't have anything special or amazing. You basically just aggro. It might need refinement. Like just looking at it, I'm curious about Deathborn. I'm thinking like, what minions are you Deathborning? It looks like only your own minions, which would not make much sense. But yeah, also a kind of cheap deck. Egwin is free. Downos is free. Basically, you just need Astalor and Sivara and the Prismatic. Oh, you looked at this earlier. It just looks like it lacks damage. It gets there though, definitely, I assure you. I mean, you have 2 Frozen Touches. You have the Arcane Bolts. Bunch of Arcane Bolts. I assume for when turn 8 comes. You don't want to get past turn 8, obviously. And then you have Suspicious Alchemist for a couple of discovers. Taunos for the spell damage, I'm sure, to go with the bolts. It could work. Hard to say. There isn't enough stats on this right now. Like, only Alutemu has played it. Some people have tried it. I've not personally seen it. Really hard to say. Really hard to say. But hopeful that there's actually people still discovering decks. Right, so that's it for cards. Now I want to take a look at the world lineups. So as I said, everyone has brought a Quest Demon Hunter. It's the best. So let's take a look at the list. So Hopper, he has the 1 Viper for Spectral side. He's gone for the Control Pink Mage. No new cards except Estelor, as expected. So he runs double Mass Poly. So this is entirely for Blessed Priest and also the Miracle Rogue and Death Rattle Rogue. So the thing about these best of 5 lineups is that they will tend to try and at least soft target one kind of deck. So for example, looking at Bounty Hopper here, he wants to attack Miracle Rogue, so it makes sense to have the Viper here. Makes sense to have Mass Poly. Makes sense to bring Priest, which counters all rogues. And also makes sense to have the Jackpot Rogue because it does stand a chance to contest Miracle Rogue. So it's very clear. And all other decks that we mentioned that were pretty good. Next, they draw exactly the same. They must have discussed. Yep, it looks like they brought the exact same list. So you can only assume that they must have like similar things. I noticed slight difference in the Pink Mage. Like that draw here is running the Arcanologist with actual objections. So yeah, slight differences, but pretty much the same lineup. Glory is running aggro. So we got the aggro druid here. He's kept to the identical list pre-expansion, did not even bother to add the skeleton in. So some lists have added the skeleton. Basically they just took out sidekick for the new skeleton, the one that's very sticky. Good and bad. So like earlier the guy buffed his struck with sidekick that ended us. If he played the skeleton, he wouldn't have been able to do that. There's also people who dropped the Vicious Slither Spear for the Claw Fury Adept. The 2 mana 2/3 that gives 1 damage to all characters. I would say that's a bad decision. You should definitely run this one. This one is huge. You get so much damage from the +1 attack because you could go like Aquatic, that's 2 spells. You could go Planted Evidence, that's 2 spells, and that's 2 damage. You want every point of damage. Yep. So if you want to try the skeleton, I would say just take out the sidekick for the skeleton. Otherwise, I just run the list as is. Don't need any new cards. It's still good. And then here's the Boon Priest with just the Sunwell edition. Oh, so Glory is actually running the Animate Date version, which is very, very interesting. The thing is, this card, it makes the deck much more difficult because this card you can't target, right? And the only thing that you want to resurrect is Radiant. You don't want to resurrect the Handmaiden, Valish, nope. Don't want to you can't resurrect the Boon. All you want to resurrect is the Radiant, so it makes it much more difficult. Personally, I don't think this increases your win rate by much. I would just run the other card that was run before. I can't recall. Maybe we'll see it here. Nope, also Animate Date. Also Animate Date what? Do they know something that I don't? Okay, this one only 1 Animate Date, so Light It Burns. Ah, that's a card then, Light It Burns, is it? Is it 2 Light It Burns for Animate Date? What? Wait, why does everyone have Animate Date? What do I not know? About animate did. Huh? Questioning myself now. Okay. Um, since all of them brought it, I guess I'm mistaken. Maybe at the higher level of play, it makes it more difficult, the deck for sure, like I said. But maybe Animate Dead is the better card. Maybe you can get some insane combos of sacking a Radiant into animate dating it back after. Maybe you can get sick combo with Sunwell or something. Huge bunch of, I don't know. But if all of them are doing it, it must make sense, I guess. I guess. So like I said here, over here, this guy has both Edwin. So because he already has Edwin, so just one sprint. Does not run the Potion Master, which is bad. It's good. See here, so Habu has the Control Paladin. Quest Breeze, yep. Concoction. This one runs Potion Master, big mistake, I would say. And also Estelor. So basically he's going for a much later game plan. He wants to go later. I disagree, but maybe he's just targeting something else. You never know. So Control Paladin, Estelor, Sylvanas, Anachronos, nothing new. Okay, just the same old stuff. Yep. But this one, he has the Enchanter here instead of the Viper that people have. I don't understand the Enchanter. So I don't know why Habu feels the need for the extra damage onto the minions, because this doesn't increase your damage to the opponent's face. It isn't like before the old Quest Demon Hunter. Hey there, Alexander. So it isn't like the old Demon Hunter like before, where we played the lifesteal card. We played Moarks, right? Moark Artificer, I think that's what's the card called. And then we played Ilganov, and then we played lifesteal on the minions to deal damage to face. So that one, by hitting minions, we hit face, so it made sense to play that. But this deck doesn't do that. You can't hit face by hitting minions. So I don't understand the Enchanter here. Because as you saw earlier, against that Death Rattle Rogue, he got that huge 14 something 20 ghost or something, but I just ended it with Relic anyways. So I don't understand why he felt the need for this. We'll see. So this is for Habu, this guy here. So Alignment Druid, I would say this is a preference thing. I suppose he likes the Alignment Druid. Definitely made better with Underbrakan. Nothing much to explain. I mean, basically Anubrakan enables, so those of you familiar with alignment druid, how it goes is they play alignment, then they play Anaconda, then they just throw their whole hand away. It's huge. But so Anubrakan enables you to do a similar thing, because so this would cost 1, it gives you 8 armor, so basically you can play like 7 more minion cards. So you could dump Underking, you could dump Red Boss, Jailer, etc. So that's why the alignment got stronger. But the issue with this one is it became harder to use Estelor. So it makes it more consistent in the sense that you're more guaranteed to get your combo going quicker. Because when you just play regular ramp, you need to draw Guff to break 10 mana. But when you play alignment, hitting alignment does the same thing as hitting Guff. It just enables you straight away. So that's the difference. Moving on. Yeah, but play-wise, it's pretty much the same thing. Aggro Druid here. Another guy with the... Oh, he added the zombie. Okay, so he added the zombie and he took out... He kept Sidekick and he took out the Naga. I don't like this. I don't like... Like I said, the Naga is worth a lot of damage. I don't like that he took out the Naga. I'd rather he take out the Sidekick instead of the Naga. The Naga can do a lot of damage. I don't like this. But yeah, it's not gonna be huge. So Nice is running the Pure Paladin, so someone has faith in this. the first guy that runs, second guy that runs full 30 cards. I really appreciate it. I hate Renata. Aggro Druid went back to Beamy Psychic and Vicious Lily. Right, because it just works. Why change? Okay, so nothing to talk about here. Same stuff. Next guy. Same thing. Oh! A Bomb Rogue! Okay, so I can only say, for someone to run Mind Rogue as before, it's just a preference thing. Pure preference. He's just comfortable with the deck, or she just comfortable with the deck and wants to run it. Okay, I didn't notice, but Jala is running the Shark Rogue. Again, it's just a comfort thing. So Shark Rogue would just be better against the slower decks. So he might be a bit upset that there are so few druids. I mean, I guess there are a few druids, so he could get lucky in the matchup. And then the Shark Rogue will be better against druids, because druids are so slow, and then he can go until like turn 6 and then get like a 30 damage weapon and swing. 30 card Pink Mage. Surprising. So the exact same list as before the expansion. Cool. Cool. Once again, probably a comfort deck. Or I don't have to open these other ones. Everyone else brought the same thing. Okay, here are the Death Rattle Rogues. So the Death Rattle Rogue is not gonna be happy because everyone has Priest. Everyone has Quest Demon Hunter. It looks like maybe Pascoa didn't realize there's Quest Demon Hunter, or didn't realize Quest Demon Hunter was good. But with the Death Rattle Rogue, he's gonna be bad into Priest and bad into Quest DH. So that's 2 unfavorables. And if he hits these mages, 3 unfavorables. Because if you see all the mages, they run the oh, this one doesn't. Sure, okay. They still have Blizzard, which kind of screws Death Rattle Rogue because there's no phase damage. Yep. So these 2 Death Rattle Rogues, I would say they're gonna have a tough time. But apart from that, pretty exciting. I guess Ram Druid might have a tough time also, but then they have the Priest matchup. So yeah. I suppose the most popular will be Boon Priest. And actually Quest Demon Hunter is the most popular deck outright. Next up is Boon Priest. So like 2 of the top decks right now, like I said, exactly as I said before. And then all the rogues are pretty much the same power level. Also, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's it. Okay, back to gameplay.